Hi guys, I'm back. Today I'm going to read Revelation 17 to 22, Proverbs 23, and Psalm 91. Let's get started. Then one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls came and said to me, Come, I'll show you the judgment of the great prostitute who was seen on many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed sexual immorality, and with the wine of whose sexual immorality the dwellers on earth have become drunk. And he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. And I saw a woman sitting on the scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names. And had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and jewels and pearls, holding in her hand a golden cup full of abomination and impurity of her sexual immorality. And on her forehead was written a name mystery, Babylon the Great, mother of prostitutes and of earth's abominations. And I saw the woman, drunk with the blood of saints, the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. When I saw her, I marveled greatly. But the angel said to me, Why do you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the Lord, and of the beast with the 10 horns and 10 horns. The beast that you saw was and is about to rise from the bottom of the pit and go to destruction. And the dwellers on earth, whose names have not been written in the book of life, and from the foundation of the world, they marveled to see the beast, because it was and is not and is to come. This was for a mind with wisdom. With the 7 heads of 7 men, on which the woman was seated. Here are the 7 kings, 5 of whom have fallen. One is, the other is not yet come. And when he does come, he must remain only a little while. Like for the beast, that was and is not, and it is an 8th, but it belongs to 7, and it goes to destruction. And the 10 horns that you saw are for 1 hour, together with the beast. These are of 1 month, and they hand over their power and authority to the beast. They will make war on the earth, and the Lamb will conquer. And he is the Lord of lords and King of kings, and those with him are called and chosen and faithful. And the angel said to me, The waters that you saw, where the prostitute is seated, are peoples and multitudes and nations and languages. And the 10 horns that you saw, they and the beast will hate the prostitute. They will make her desolate and naked, and devour her flesh and burn her up with fire. The gods put it into their hearts to carry on his purpose of being one mind, and handing over their royal power to the beast, until the words of God are fulfilled. And the woman that you saw is the great city that has dominion over the kings of the earth. After this I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was made bright in his glory. And he called out with a mighty voice, Fallen, fallen, his bed belonged to the earth. And he has become a dwelling place for demons, a horn for every unclean spirit, and a horn for every unclean bird, a horn for every unclean and detestable beast, for all nations are drunk, and wine of the passion of her sexual immorality. The kings of the earth have committed immorality with her, and the merchants of the earth have removed from the power of her luxurious living. And then I heard another voice in heaven saying, out of her, my people, lest you take part in her sins, and she share in her plagues, her sins are heaped high as heaven, and God from that earth and her iniquities. Pay her back as she herself has paid back her, and pay her double for a deed, and she got double portion for her in the past she made. And she glorified herself and lived amongst us. So give her a like measure of torment and mourning. And since in her heart she says, I sit as a queen, I am no widow, and man I shall never see. For this reason her place will come in a single day. Death and mourning and famine, and she will be burned out with fire. For mighty is the Lord God who has judged her. And the kings of the earth who committed sexual immorality and lived in luxury with her will weep and wail over her when they see the smoke of her burning. They will stand far off in fear of their torment and say, Alas, alas, you great city, you mighty city, Babylon, for in a single hour your judgment has come, and the merchants of the earth weep and mourn for, since no one buys their cargo, and your cargo of gold, silver, jewels, pearls, fine linen, cloth, silk, scarlet cloth, all kinds of scented wood, all kinds of articles of ivory, all kinds of articles of costly wood, bronze, iron, and marble, cinnamon, spice, incense, myrrh, frankincense, wine, oil, fine, flour, wheat, cattle, and sheep, horses and chariots, and slaves, that is, human souls. The fruit for which your soul longed has gone from you, and all your delicacies and your splendors are lost to you, never to be found again. The merchants of these words who gain wealth from her will stand far off, in fear of her torment, weeping and mourning. Alas, alas, for the great city that was clothed in fine linen, and in purple and scarlet, adorned with gold, with jewels and with pearls. For in a single hour, all this wealth is being laid waste. And all shipmasters and seafaring men, sailors and all whose trade is on the sea, stood far off and cried out, as they saw the smoke of her burning. That city was like the great sea, and they threw dust on their heads as they wept and moaned, crying out, Alas, alas, for the great sea, where all who had ships at sea grew rich by their wealth. In a single hour she is being laid waste. Rejoice over her, O heaven, and your saints and apostles and prophets, but God has given judgment for you against her. And a mighty angel took a stone making a great millstone and threw it into the sea, saying, So will Babylon the great city be thrown down with violence, and will be found no more. And the sound of harpists and musicians, of flute players and trumpeters, will be heard in you no more. And the craftsman of any craft will be found in you no more. And the sound of the mill will be heard in you no more. And the light of the lamp will shine in you no more. And the voice of bridegroom and bride will be heard in you no more. For ye merchants were the great ones of the earth. And all nations were deceived by our sorcery. In her oil was found the blood of prophets and of saints, and of all who have been slain on earth. And after this I heard what seemed to be the loud voice of a great multitude in heaven, crying out, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. Salvation and glory and power belong to our God, and his judgments are true and just. He is judged the great prostitute, who crafted the earth with all immortal, and judged, and avenged on her the blood of his servants. Once more they cried, Hallelujah. The smoke from her goes up forever and ever. And the 24 elders and the 4 living creatures fall down and worship God, who was seated on the throne, saying, Amen, Hallelujah. And from the throne came a voice saying, Praise our God, pray in all ye serve, you who fear him, small and great. And I heard what seemed to be the voice of a great multitude, like the roar of many waters, and like the sound of mighty peals of thunder, crying out, Hallelujah, for the Lord our God, the Almighty, reigns. Let us rejoice and exult, and give him the glory. And the marriage of the Lamb has come, and the bride has made herself ready. And his bride had to clothe him, clothe herself with fine linen, bright and pure. The fine linen is the righteous deeds of the saints. And the angel said, Write this, blessed are those who are invited to the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said to me, These are the true words of God. Then I fell down at his feet to worship him. And he said to me, You must not do that. I am a fellow servant with you and your brothers who hold to the testimony of Jesus. Worship God, for the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. And I saw heaven open on my house, and the most one is called faithful and true, and in righteousness he judges and makes war. His eyes are like a flame of fire, and on his head are many diadems. And he is a name that no one knows himself. He is clothed in a robe dipped in blood, and the name by which he is called is the Word of God. And the armies of heaven are arrayed in fine linen, white and pure, will follow him on white horses. And he will rule them with all fire. And he will tread the winepress of the fear of the wrath of God the Almighty. And on his robe and on his thigh he has a name, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and with the loud he called to all the birds that fly directly overhead. Come, gather for the great supper of God, and to eat the flesh of kings, the flesh of falcons, the flesh of mighty men, the flesh of horses and their riders, and the flesh of all men, both free and slave, both small and great. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth with their army gathered to make war against him. He was sitting on the horse and against his army, and the beast was captured, and lifted the false prophet who in his presence had done the signs, by which he deceived those who received the mark of the beast and those who worshipped the image. These two were thrown alive into the lake of fire that burns with sulfur, and the rest were slain by the sword that came into the mouth of him who was sitting on the horse, and all the birds of the world were dead. And I saw an angel coming down from heaven, holding in her hand the key to the bottomless pit and a great chain, and he seized the dragon, that ancient serpent, who was the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years, and threw him into the pit, and shut it and sealed it over him, so that he might not deceive the nations any longer, until 1,000 years were ended, and after that he must be released for a little while. And I saw thrones, and seated on them were those to whom the authority to judge was committed. And also I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded for the testimony of Jesus and for the word of God, and those who had not worshipped the beast or its image, and had not received its mark on his forehead, or their hands. They came to life and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. Most of their dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years were ended. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is the one who shares in the first resurrection. Over the such and second death is no power, but there will be peace of God and of Christ, and they will reign with him for 1,000 years. And the 1,000 years are ended, Satan will be released from his prison and will come out to deceive the nations that are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them for battle. Their numbers like the sand of the sea. And they marched up over the broad plain of the earth and surrounded the camp of the saints and their beloved city. When fire came down from heaven and consumed them, when the devil who had deceived them was thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet were, and they'll be tormented day and night forever and ever. And I saw a great white throne, and him who was seated on it, from his presence, earth and sky fled away, and no place returned for him. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing there, laying before the throne, and books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life, and the dead were judged, and what was written in the books, according to what they had done. And the sea gave up the dead who were in it. Death and Hades gave up the dead who were in them, and they were judged, each one of them, according to what they had done. Then death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire. This is the second death, the lake of fire. And if anyone's name was not found written in the book of life, he was thrown into the lake of fire. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. And for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. And I saw the holy city and New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven from above, and passed as a bride adorned for her husband, and married. And he will dwell with them, and they will be his people. And God himself will be with them as their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. And they shall never be murdered, nor cry, nor pain, nor pain. All the former things have passed away. And he who is seated on the throne said, Behold, I am making all things new. And as he said, like the sun, and write these words without trustworthy and true. And he said to me, It is done. It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To the thirsty I will give the spring of the water of life without pain. The one who conquers will have this heritage. And I'll be his God, and he'll be my son. And as for the cowardly, the faithless, the detestable, as for murderers, sexually immoral, sorcerers, idolaters, and lies, his portion will be in the lake that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death. Then came one of the seven angels, who had 7 bowls with 7 plagues, who spoke to me, saying, Come, I'll show you the bride, the wife of the Lamb. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great high mountain, and he showed me the holy city, Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from having the word of God. Its radiance was like a most red jewel, like a jasper clear crystal. And it was a great high wall with 12 gates, and at the gates were 12 angels. And on the gates the names of 3 tribes, the names of 12 tribes of the sons were inscribed. And on the west 3 gates inscribed. On the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, and the west 3 gates. And on the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and on them were the 12 names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. And the one who spake with me had a measuring rod of gold to measure the sea by its gates and walls. And he built the city length 4 square, its length and the same as its width. And he measured the city with his rod, 12,000 stadia. And its length and width and height are equal. He also measured its width, 144 cubits by human measurement, without measuring like an angel's measurement. The wall was built of jasper, while the city was pure gold, like clear glass. The foundations of the wall were adorned with every kind of jewel. The first gem was jasper, the second sapphire, the third agate, the fourth emerald, the fifth amethyst, the sixth carnelian, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th chrysoprase, the 11th jacinth, the 12th amethyst, and the 12 gates were 12 pearls. These were the gates made of a single pearl, and sealed the sea with pure gold and a transparent glass. And so when I jumped on the sea, the jumpers were all God over the Almighty, and the sea with his red roof was in the ocean. The word of God gives it life, and from his ear, where it flies all the nations forth, and the kings of the earth have been gathered around him. And his gates will not be shut by them, and there will be no night. There will be winter at wrath from the honor of the nations. But nothing unclean will ever enter, nor anyone who does what is detestable, and only those who live in the land with it life. And the angel showed me the river like a wall of life, What is a Christian? Following from the family, and if you include the name of the street, on either side of the river. In the tree of life with the 12 kinds of fruit, eating is for each one, for at least the tree before the family of the nation. Let them who do anything first. If the family of God will be out, and his son who will worship him. You will see his face, and his name will be on their foreheads, and that will be in their mouth. There will be no man to live, or no light, or like their sun. Or their logo will be their light, and they will reign forever and ever. And he said to them, these words are trustworthy and true. And the God of the Spirit of the heart, as some is each saying, what must be to trust. And how I am coming from precious and only keep the words to prophecy of the Spirit. I, John, am the one who heard all these things. And when I heard all of them, I fell down to worship to you again. This is shaking true. And he said to him, you must not do it. I am a fellow son, if you need a bloody prophets. And I was ready to keep the words of this book, worship God. And he said to me, do not steal up the words of my parents, steal up this book. They are telling you, 50 years ago will still be used, and the filthy still be filthy, and the righteous still be right, and the holy still be hung, and the mankind still be doing my recompense with me, to repay each one for what he has done. And the alpha and the omega, the person in the lost, the other beginning and the end, must have had to wash their blood, so that they may have the right to eat children, and that they may enter the sea by their ears. I saw the dogs and sorcerers, and the sexual animals, and murderers and idolaters, and everyone who loves him has this closely. And I just reply to you about these things for the churches. I am the root and the descendant of David, the great minister. The Spirit and the bride say, come. And let the one who hears say, come. And let the one who thirsts say, come. Let the one who desires take the word of life without fight. And when everyone who hears the words comes to prophecy of this book. Someone asked to go back to him the place described in this book. And anyone takes away from the work of the place of the prophecy, someone takes away his share in the true and impartial. We are described in this book. He testifies to these things, so fill in from us. Amen. Come, Lord Jesus. Grace of the Lord is beautiful. Amen. Proverbs 23. When you sit down to eat with a rule, observe carefully what is before you. Put not to be afraid if you are breathing to action. So do not decide because you survey it to set the truth. Do not go to acquire wealth, you consider enough to insist. For when it lies on it, it is gone. For suddenly it's restless, flying like a eagle toward heaven. Do not eat the bread of a man who is strange. Do not desire the rich. If you have wrong with inwardly calculated, then he says to you, but his heart is not with you. He will come up the mercies you eat, and mercy present with. Do not speak into him of the truth. He will despise the good sense of your words. He will do not make an infant my mouth, for as the field of the fathers, for they are dimly strong. He will plead their cause against you, and apply your heart to instruction, and your ear to what not. And do not hold wisdom with your heart. If you strike him with the law, do not die. If you strike him with the rod, then you will save your soul from Sheol. And son, if your heart is wise, even my heart too will be blessed. My innermost being will exalt when your lips be poured dry. Let not your heart envy sin, but continue in the fear of the Lord all the day. Surely there is a future, and your head will not be cut off. Then certainly be wise, and direct your heart in the way. Do not among the drunkards, or among the godless easily. For the drunkard and the glutton will come to party. The slumber will cry from his rags. Listen to your father gave you life, and do not despise your mother when she saw. By truth and zeal, by wisdom, instruction, and understanding. The father of the righteous will greatly rejoice. He who fathers the right son will be glad in him. Let your father and mother be glad, and let her boy rejoice. Son, give me your heart, and let your eyes observe my ways. A prostitute is a deacon, and an adulteress is an animal. He lies in wait like a robber, and increases the trade among mankind. Who is right, who is soft, who is sharp, who is complaining, who is ruined for that cause, who is redness of us. Those who tarry long over wine, and those who try to mix wine. Do not look at wine when it's full, when it sloshes in the cup and goes down sleeping, and in the end it bites like a serpent, and stings like a raven. Your eyes will see strange things. And your heart will perverse things. You be like one who lies down in the midst of the sea, like one who lies on top of the mast. They struck me, you will say, but I was not hurt. They beat me, but I do not feel it. When will I wake up? I must have another drink. Psalm 91. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. For he will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with his pinions, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness is his shield and buckler, and you will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in darkness, nor the destruction that wastes at noonday. 1,000 may fall on your side, 10,000 you ahead, but it will not come near you. You will only look with your eyes and see the recompense of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord and the Lord your dwelling place, the Most High, who is my refuge, no evil shall be allowed to befall you, no plague come near your tent. For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. And your hand shall obey you up. As to strike a foot against a stone, you will tread on the lion and the adder, the young lion and the serpent you will trample underfoot. Because he holds fast to me in life, I will deliver him. I will protect him, because he knows my name. When he calls me, I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will rescue him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Now the sun, I shall not do the Lord's work. Please your head, my Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, and lead us not into temptation. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.